to. So in a 2020 Deloitte CFO survey, 73% of the respondents, so 73% of the CFOs responded saying they intend to implement technology to replace humans across finance and HR. So that's up from 58% of the previous year. And again, this is before the lockdown. So that implies that there's a huge shift in how these roles are coming together and kind of converging. So our first point, and Charisse, if you don't mind moving to that next slide, is going to be about how the changing role between the CHRO and the CFO really impacts business, right? And really impacts the way that we need to think through talent retention and acquisition strategies. So I'll kick off the conversation with our first question here. You know, and this one goes to Steve. So you talk about how it requires a common goal to have two business units really come together, you know, and really synergize and find harmony in what it is that they're doing. Both leaders on the HR side and on the CFO on the finance side are aiming to cut costs, right? But with that comes more. There's perspectives about the different, you know, the different value systems shared by both of those. So could you walk us through a little bit about what you've seen both as a CEO when you think through, you know, those organizational leaders working together, but also from your perspective at System Accountants, where you guys frequently help clients that are typically in this, you know, have this challenge of making sure that the talent aligns to what they're asking their business partners to provide them with. So I'll kick it off with you, Steve.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's a challenging time, I think, for everyone at the moment, and I think, you know, the role of the CFO and the CHRO isn't getting any easier. I think you're absolutely right. There's been a long-standing mandate for all corporate functions, back office functions, but more so finance and HR to cut back office costs, right? And it's lowering that cost to serve, as you say. There's been some obvious developments around that: shared services, outsourcing, the labour arbitrage model, if you like, but it's not just about reducing those costs. It's the simultaneous improvement of value that they're delivering to the business while reducing those costs, and that's really tough. Right? So how do you reduce the cost, but how do you then go to the business and say, we're going to increase the level and types of activities we're going to provide to you in a way that you can measure, that's going to drive value, and the relationships there with the business are going to change. So it's not just about the operating model, it's how you engage with the business, how you look at implementing SLAs and OLAs so you can quantitatively measure how you're moving that up the value chain. So yeah, I mean, finance and HR are certainly sharing those challenges, I think, and some companies are doing a better job than others at rising to those challenges, but that's the real commonality between the two functions at the moment.